thank you all for, hey, thank you. My name is Demetrius Biles. I'm the Community Public Safety Manager at Teamwork England. My boss just walked in, so I did. Thank you all for being here tonight. If you haven't gotten any food, please help yourself. We have plenty for everyone. Just a quick reminder before we start, everybody, if you're comfortable being in a room where we're being recorded, I know we don't have any waivers, so I just want to say that out loud real quick. If you know folks that are not in the room that wanted to be here for the presentation, it will be recorded and they'll have access to it shortly after, not today, but after the meeting sometime. Okay, thank you all for being here again. Thank you, CDOT, for co-coordinating this space with us at Teamwork Inglewood. We appreciate you for allowing us to co-host with you for your big event of the year. Thank you to my team for helping me co-coordinate as well. And thank you to Teamwork Inglewood for sponsoring a portion of the event. And we'll get started shortly. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to read here some of the CMC goals just to level set for the room for those folks in the room that don't know. The goal of CMC is to establish a forum for meaningful participation where collaboration is encouraged, learning is facilitated, partnerships are fostered, and where Chicagoans have a voice in decision-making that impacts them. Here are some agreements of engagement. Listen actively to understand others' views and perspectives. One person speaks at a time. Seek clarity, avoid making assumptions. Be accountable for your words and their impact. Your experience is valuable and unique and is worth sharing. Provide constructive criticism of ideas and projects, not of individuals, or as I like to say, don't yuck my yum. Okay, and then I will hand it over to Brad, the Director of Complete Streets, to give information about his department. Hi, Brad.
Hey. All right, thank you all, everyone, for coming. Thanks for the school for hosting. Thank you to Teamwork Inglewood. Really appreciate dinner because I did not pack any. So thanks everybody for coming. My name is Brad Huff. I am the Interim Director of Complete Streets at the Chicago Department of Transportation. So I manage the team. Whoa, there's my boss there. We'll get to him in a minute. My team at CDOT manages our traffic safety effort as well as the planning, design, coordination of our bike lanes, bus infrastructure, as well as pedestrian safety improvements. So I drew the short straw, so I did the presentation on a little bit of an overview of what exactly CDOT as a department does. I guarantee everybody will learn something. I learned something that I didn't even know as a CDOT employee. And next slide. And I think first, do we have audio or is this just, no, we don't have audio. All right, so use your imagination. This gentleman right here is Acting Commissioner Craig Turner, who manages the Department of Transportation as well as the 1,300 or so folks who serve. Okay, so what do we do? And what's our mission? What's our vision? Like, what are we here for? So the Department of Transportation, really our goal at the end of the day is keeping our surface transportation networks and our public way. That's really all the spaces in between all our buildings, not only our streets, our sidewalks, our waterways, keeping them safe for all users, sustainable, in state of good repair, attractive, so that everyone in Chicago, no matter where you live, businesses, guests can enjoy a variety of quality transportation options. I may be a little biased, but I think Chicago has the greatest transportation network in the country. And so it's a privilege for all of us in the department to be really managing and helping to build that. Next slide. A little bit of what we actually manage. So the city of Chicago, when you take out the expressways, we still have 4,000 miles of streets. Those are big arterial streets, those are your neighborhood streets. We have 2,000 miles of alleys, 300 bridges. I still get shocked at just how many bridges there are within the city. 110 miles of landscape medians, I actually didn't realize that. 150 miles of rivers and tributaries. It's actually, and we're growing, it's no longer 360. We have this year crossed 500 miles of our bikeway network. That's our on-street network. That's our on-street network. So bike lanes you see around town, as well as our off-street trails like the Lakefront Trail. And Divvy, which I know one of our tables will be talking about, Divvy, the largest bike share network in the entire country. Anyone available to anyone, really anywhere in the city. And like I said, 1,300 staff folks through a whole variety of functions. Next slide. What do we actually do? What do those 1,300 folks do? So really, you can think of it in three different buckets. The first thing that people think of really is building stuff. All right, so we design, we build new infrastructure. My team does a lot of that, whether it's pedestrian safety, bike lanes. I'm going to be in the transit table, so we're going to talk about what we are working on with CTM bus stuff. The middle one, manage. So this is something I don't think a lot of people really understand. Is CDOT manages pretty much all the activity, construction activity, and regulates a lot of what goes on within our public right-of-way, not only on the street, but also underground as well. We can get into that. And then maintains. We make sure everything that we're building is in a state of good repair. So that's resurfacing streets, that's rebuilding sidewalks, alleys, even some stuff related to the lakeshore, which we'll get into in a little bit. So what do we actually design and build? Pretty much anything that's going to get you from here to there. Trails, bike lanes, streetscapes, so sidewalk space and improving commercial areas, pedestrian bridges, train stations. We partner with CTA, and so CDOT actively manages and builds some of the new L stations. Bus stops, bus priority infrastructure. Again, come to the table back there and learn about what that means. Pedestrian safety infrastructure, traffic calming is what we call that. Different types of reconfiguring the streets, our traffic signals, our pedestrian signal timing, new things called accessible pedestrian signals, public plazas, really anything that you see you can travel on. We have a role in planning it, building it, maintaining it for all of you. Next slide. Oh, and of course, I do want to, we are here in Inglewood. We're here with Teamwork Inglewood. I do want to highlight an effort that we've been doing throughout the city, but we're going to be bringing to this neighborhood as well. Speaking of just safe pedestrian infrastructure, one of our programs that our team is leading is something called School Zone Improvement. So highlighting concentrations of schools throughout the city and really focusing on traffic calming, pedestrian safety improvements in those areas. So we're really getting the best bang for our buck. And we're going to be working on that over this winter and hopefully going to construction next year on some safety improvements around a handful of schools in Inglewood, a little further to the east of where we are right now. So I can't, let's go to the next slide. I thought we had some pictures. Yes, we've got some pictures. So these are some recent examples of some of the infrastructure we've done at other schools in the city. So on the left, this is Saucedo School by 24th Boulevard. This is on the right. This is Northside Catholic Academy at the intersection of Glenwood and Granville. What you see in both these pictures is something called a raised crosswalk. That's kind of like a combination of a speed hump and a crosswalk. It really elevates people crossing the street, highlights the need for vehicles to stop and let kids and families cross the street safely. We've been building a lot of these throughout the city lately. Next slide. Managing. So, managing a whole lot of stuff. So I mentioned just kind of managing like construction. So anytime there is a permit, whether it's for a private development, new construction for a building, telecommunications and utilities, like CDOT has a role in managing the coordination of all that, especially everything underground. We have something called the Office of Underground Coordination, which is a huge effort just to make sure when projects are happening, those sorts of things are being coordinated together. I got my notes, so I better check on my notes and make sure I'm not going to miss anything. Permitting and use of the public way. I mentioned our Office of Underground Coordination. It oversees utility data as well. It reviews really any construction permit as well that's going to happen in the public way. We coordinate with contractors, utilities, and other agencies to make sure that they are doing construction in the public way that is safe for everyone. Traffic lights, permits, clean transportation, street lights. We hit on a lot of these. Green industry, which we'll get into in a little bit. Even things like our pedways and our waterways, which I highlighted a little bit earlier. Let's go to the next slide. And we talked about our green industry program. So, did you know we have something called Green Corps? It's a public-private partnership between CDOT and WRD Environmental. This is a green industry employment program with on-the-job training. I know we do this. I don't know nearly enough about it, but I always think it is so cool that this is a part of what CDOT does. It's really about promoting environmental stewardship, improving quality of life, for folks, providing job opportunities and job training for folks with barriers to employment, earning all sorts of certifications and on-the-job training. You can see what some of those are. 750 plus graduates as of 2024, which I think is really cool. Next slide. And you can see some of those here. We got Mayor Johnson, and this is our former commissioner, Tom Carney, as well. Next slide. And then maintaining. So everything that we build and design, we've got to actually care for so that it's going to last and it functions for folks. So that's bridges, that's street lights, traffic lights, alleys, sidewalks. Everything that we're building, we've got to maintain. We've got robust capital programs just to make sure that we are maintaining everything. For instance, we've got a RTO resurfacing program that is rebuilding and reconstructing 40 to 50, 60, 70 miles of major streets every single year, just to make sure that we're keeping our streets functional. This is one I don't know much about, so I'm going to go to my notes, and thank you, Romina, for the notes. Did you know, and a lot of people don't know, how many bridges, viaducts, and shorelines the City of Chicago, the Department of Transportation maintains? Like I said earlier, we have 300 bridges and viaducts, and 37 of those are operable moving bridges. All those need to be maintained. As you all know, and sometimes if you need to go downtown in the spring or the fall, sometimes you have to plan accordingly, because we are coordinating the spring and the fall bridge lifts so that boats can travel up and down the river, into and out of Lake Michigan. We oversee all the bridge rehabilitation projects. Viaducts. So a viaduct, that's basically, it's like a bridge that goes over a road. So anytime you've got a train track that's going over a street, that's known as a viaduct. So we maintain even just the heights, the little heights you see above the viaducts, to make sure trucks don't crush themselves. Often they ignore them and then they get stuck anyway. But we manage all of that, manage that database. We even maintain freight tunnels that are under the CBD. I've heard about these things. I've never seen them. I really want to see them. But there's a whole network of tunnels under downtown that we maintain as well. And then our waterways and our shoreline. So I had no idea about this, so I think this is kind of cool, or at least it sounds cool. The CDOT commissioner is actually also the harbor master. I had no idea that is actually a thing. It sounds cool. I don't know what it entails. And we collaborate with a ton of other agencies. And I didn't know this. We actually have jurisdiction of all the Lake Michigan harbors. I had no idea. So I'm a CDOT employee and I'm learning something too. So I hope you guys are too. And we work together with a lot of different groups related to the shoreline. The Park District, Army Corps of Engineers, Illinois Department of Natural Resources, reconstructing all sorts of structures along Lake Michigan and along a lot of our river shorelines as well. Inside, if you go downtown to all these movable bridges, you may notice these little bridge houses. These are actually how the bridges are operated. So that is City of Chicago CDOT employees who are operating those bridges when we're doing those bridge lifts. So they're not just there to look cool, there's actually a function. So what don't we do? We do a ton related to the public way, related to how you get around. There's a couple of things that we don't do that's really closely associated. So we don't operate public transportation. That is, so the buses, the trains, that is actually the CTA, and we've got some CTA folks. Again, I'm plugging my table. We're going to be talking about bus infrastructure later. So we do not manage public transit, but we work very closely with those agencies to make sure that they've got the infrastructure to help public transit function. We don't manage the street sweepers or the snow plows. So the City of Chicago has another department called the Department of Streets and Sanitation. They maintain the massive fleets of snow plows, street sweepers. The one caveat is that CDOT plows all of our what we call protected bike lanes. So any bike lane that's separated by a curb, we have little mini plows to plow those. That is the one thing we do plow. And we do not issue parking tickets. So that is handled by the Department of Finance. Our parking meters are run by a private company with a lot of coordination with Chicago's Department of Finance. So I hope you learned something. I did. So now we're happy to open it up to questions. I know we've got a few other folks from CDOT who are happy to jump in too. Yes, sir.
So the last couple of years, we've been talking about reopening the Racine Green Line stop. Where is that in the process of happening?
You're asking the wrong guy on that one. But
Jason here from CTA. Well, the rail side of things is not my total area of expertise. The Green Line station is going to be kicking off a feasibility study later this year. So basically, the scope of that is going to be to look at what it would entail to add a new station there, what the projected ridership would be, kind of the land use around there. Look at the historic head house, whether that would be integrated into the station, repurposed for something else. So it's kind of like the first step into looking whether, the scheme of the system, that is something, the community wants to pursue, that CTA wants to pursue, and there will be public outreach forthcoming as part of that initial step in the process. So over the next year or so, I'd say stay tuned, and there will be opportunities to engage specifically on that project and give feedback.
Thanks.
Jason, thank you for saving me again. This is a good example of the coordination that happens between CDOT, CTA on making sure we're building and maintaining the different systems that get people where they need to go. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Yes.
There's some pedestrian bridges over 290 that often seem a little bit desolate or maybe deteriorating or trash strewn. And I was just wondering how much, are those safe? Are folks paying attention to those? Are there any plans to do any improvements on any of those?
I can't speak too much to plans for any improvements to them. Again, we're a huge department, so that's kind of outside of my own team's purview, which is really kind of the on-street stuff. So I can't speak too much to that. I don't know if Bill's here. Bill might have a better canned answer than me.
I'm over here, but I don't.
Okay, all right. I was looking for you. All right, so yes. Yes?
Did they ever complete Halsted Street? They were supposed to widen the street and stuff. I'm living close to this area, but I haven't been, I don't pay attention. But did they ever finish Halsted Street? They're supposed to be widening and something like that with the bike trail or something?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of different projects happening on Halsted Street. So if you all have been up and down Halsted, a little further north, kind of from Pershing south to 47, 50, where do we end it?
59.
59, thank you, Sid. It is a team effort. So all the way down to 59. We've recently done a number of projects there, an arterial resurfacing project where we were able to add what's called a protected bike lane. That project is wrapping up, and what we've seen on that project is tremendous decreases in speeding on the street, which is great. Now, further south of there's a separate effort going on related to a streetscape project from our streetscape group, which is looking at a stretch of Halsted as well as a stretch of 63rd Street. And I know that those two projects are still in design, and they hope to go to construction next year or the year after. Yeah.
Question as a resident. How can residents feel empowered to reach out to your department, or is it through local aldermen for street repairs? So many of us in Inglewood experience CDOT, the employees are outside, they tear the streets up, they leave it open for weeks, months, whatever, how long, even on my own street. And then nobody comes back to necessarily close it up in time for like weather, purposes. Then we have to move our cars and park away from our houses. How can we reach out, or is there an escalation process for getting certain things done that become a public safety issue?
No, that's a really great question. For those on the other side, if you didn't hear, she was really asking about how do folks contact CDOT, or how do folks reach out when there's construction going on, or there's questions, or the street is open, right? Phil, you've got your hand up, so I'll let you.
Hi, Bill Higgins. I'm Assistant Commissioner of Intergovernmental Affairs at CDOT. My group has liaisons with every ward office, so going through your alderman's office is usually the best way to find out what's going on in your neighborhood. 311 is also useful to report things like potholes and things like that. We rely a lot on that data. It takes a while sometimes to get that data from a call to a guy in the street filling a pothole, but yeah, calling your ward office, finding out what's going on in your neighborhood through them is usually the most direct way. We communicate with every ward in the city, all 50 wards, on a daily basis, to communicate what's going on. When we have community outreach for a particular project, if an alley is being repaved, and we need to tell everyone that you're not going to be able to access your garage for a week or something like that. So we try to do that. The messaging, communication is the number one most important thing in government, and it's really hard sometimes to get the word out to everybody, but we try as best we can. And also on top of talking to your ward office, we have social media, and we're doing a lot of efforts to communicate more through social media to say what's going on with the department of the city.
Great. Thanks, Phil. And the Cliff Notes version is for any of those sorts of issues, the best place to go first is go to your local alderman. We've got liaisons, and we work directly with every single ward, all 50 wards. Each alderman's office has a specific staff member that works directly with our team, all of our teams, on a daily basis. That's really the best way to go. I do want to plug another resource that the CDOT maintains. There's a website called Shy Street Work, or Shy Street Works, one of those. Check out one of those. So that is a public tool that shows you a map of every single permitted infrastructure project going on. So you can look at the projects going on around your neighborhood, by your house. It's not only public projects like the project our department is doing, but utility projects, whether it's gas or water or internet, or other construction projects that are happening in the public way. So that's a good resource. I don't think a lot of enough people know about, but another great resource to tell you a little more info about what's exactly going on. Yes?
Do you all do anything about the sidewalks or work with other organizations to repair them, or how does that work?
Yeah, so the sidewalks are part of the public way, so that is our responsibility. So in addition to maintaining our streets where the cars are driving on the asphalt, we're also maintaining sidewalks as well. That's not a stat we had in there, but if you think about 4,000 miles of streets, if you times that by 2, I mean, there are thousands and thousands of miles of sidewalk throughout the city that we're also trying to maintain, which is can be a challenging job as well. And that things like sidewalks, especially in the neighborhood, that's where there's more of a partnership with aldermen's offices to understand where those needs are. We also have a great program called the Shared Cost Sidewalk Program, so where residents can actually pay on where the city of Chicago, will help pay for new sidewalk, and essentially we share the cost and we get a great discount because we're having contractors really repairing sidewalk for residents all throughout the city. I actually did it in front of my house. It was a couple $100s to replace all the sidewalk. It was a great deal. They came in and did it really quick. So that's another great program if that's an option for folks and if they're able and interested. And that's something I think that happens, that opens up, the window and application opens up kind of in the winter, like the first of the year, and the spots, there are limited spots in terms of the amount of funding we're able to contribute. So they fill up quickly. So if that's something you're interested in, look online for Shared Cost Sidewalk Program and you'll be able to find more info. Yes, sir.
What's the turnaround time for adding benches and like Wi-Fi on the sidewalks by bus stops?
Wi-Fi is not necessarily an amenity that us as CDOT provide or maintain, so that would be more of a private partner. And then benches is the street furniture contracts that we maintain is a little bit more outside of my knowledge. I know that benches, bus shelters, those sorts of street furniture are handled through a variety of different contracts. Bill, I don't know if you know much about any benches. That's more of Kyle might know.
But what about like in back of the yards where there's like public seating but it's not connected to JC Deco, like separately?
Some of that, a lot of the unique street furniture is designed and built and coordinated through different streetscape projects, and often they're implemented with a partner in mind. So it could be a Chamber of Commerce or an SSA. So anytime you see whether it's bike racks that look different, benches that look kind of different than the standard, there's probably a partnership with another organization that's helping to kind of help us maintain those because they're unique to that area and location.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else? And feel free, we'll be here for a little longer, so if you have another question, feel free to come to me. Bill over there has a lot of answers as well. Or anybody else just with a name tag that says CDOT. So we're happy to answer any questions. All right, great. Am I kicking it off to the tables? Okay, all right, Romina.
Thank you, Brad, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. My name is Romina Castillo. I am the Director of Outreach and Engagement at CDOT. So also feel free to find me at some point during the night if you have more questions about CDOT, more specifically on our communications, community partnerships. I'll be happy to connect with you. We're going to shift into meeting and breaking into breaking into our breakout conversations. We have 4 different tables. So this will be the time to have conversations with everyone that is here tonight. This is something that we do every CMC meeting. We believe this is the one of the ways in which we can connect with our neighbors, connect with people from across the city, and really start those partnerships and dialogues to work together and improve our streets. So again, we have 4 different tables. We have table number 1, which would be here at the front. I think Brad provided good plugs about the table. That will be our bus priority corridor and school safety initiatives. This roundtable will highlight the city's efforts to expand bus priority corridors and enhance pedestrian safety, especially around schools. There will be some updates on current projects and upcoming public engagement opportunities, as well as conversations about regional transit connections that you have the opportunity to discuss. And we're really thankful also to have a representative from PACE. John in the back would also be joining that conversation and speaking more on regional transit and connections. We have table number 2, which will be in that corner on that side. That is our DV pricing and memberships conversation. CDOT's recent $3 million plus investment in making DV more affordable and accessible. This roundtable will provide an update on new pricing and memberships available to the public, including DV for everyone. A conversation about CDOT's process to site new stations and how the department partners with community members to identify the locations that will best serve their neighborhood will also be facilitated. And you'll learn about a specific station that is being cited for Inglewood. Table number 3, that will be all the way in the back on this side, farther. That is our Safe Travel for All, and we have the pleasure of co-facilitating that conversation with Cook County Department of Transportation and also with the Vega Impact Group. And it will be great. This conversation will discuss solutions for keeping pedestrians of all ages safe. The discussion will feature a brief update on safety planning development in South Chicago and countywide, followed by a dialogue on local experiences for improving traffic safety. And table number 4, which will be right here in the middle of the room. This roundtable will feature transportation and public safety experts discussing how city, agencies, and community organizations work together to improve safety on our streets. Topics will include maintaining essential infrastructure, implementing violence prevention initiatives, and activating public spaces for community healing. The discussion would also cover systems for reporting and tracking safety concerns and explore opportunities for deeper collaboration with Inglewood residents and beyond. So those are the 4 different tables. The descriptions are also on each table, and you'll have a few minutes to find the round table that speaks to you, and you will find more interested and welcome to join those conversations.